that doesn't raise taxes on our citizens or increase fees on our citizens. I was not in favor of this until I thoroughly reviewed every single page of the city budget. I proposed as many cuts as I could find. I'm going to propose some more cuts that we found. But when I look at the big picture, I look at the parks in the Leeward Coast, it's not acceptable to me or my constituents, but we don't have the money to do anything to improve them. When I look at our sidewalks, I think we can do better. When I look at our bus system, especially on the Leeward Coast, we certainly can do better. We're not doing enough. This council, this city, this state has decided that all the growth is going to come to Central Oahu and Leeward Oahu. But we're not going to provide the people with the transportation and the traffic relief to get out of our homes and get to work. To me, again, this is not chump change, and I was a little offended, but I know that wasn't meant to offend anybody, but the stories that I hear about the people at Iroquois Point and Romanore's district, that used to be my district in the House of Representatives, they walk 3 miles to get to the first bus stop. People in Hawaiian homelands that we put in Kapolei now have to walk 1.5 miles to the first bus stop. And all my Kababayans in Ewa Beach that live in Ewa Beach and work in Waikiki, they used to have a bus that went all the way from Ewa Beach to Waikiki. And they wouldn't say that it's chump change. They'll say, that's an hour more with my family. And so I think we heard very clearly from Corp Counsel the statements today that were said that these advertisements are illegal is clearly incorrect. And I encourage the members who in the audience who said that today to read the law. And I'll read it to you, and I'll give you copies. Hawaii Revised Statutes 445-11. It clearly defines a billboard. A billboard is any board, fence, or similar structure, whether freestanding, supported by or placed against any wall or structure, which is designated or used for the principal purpose of having outdoor advertising devices placed, posted, or fastened upon it. Which is designated for the principal purpose of advertising. I have to repeat that. That was in 1985 with the state legislature, and I think some of the members were there. I think I was 15 at the time, but so there were lawsuits presented in our court system. And the Outdoor Circle, I think, has done a phenomenal job defending their beliefs, and I respect them for their free speech and them fighting for what they believe. So in 2006, there was confusion, and I was in the legislature, and I think other members were there as well. We wanted clarity on this billboard issue, especially when it comes to advertising on moving vehicles. So in 2006, the legislature decided to be more clear about what is legal and illegal. And it states, it is unlawful for any person to operate or park or cause to be operated or parked on any street, roadway, or public space, or on any private property that can be seen from any street, roadway, or other public place. Any vehicle or trailer carrying a vehicular advertising device for consideration or any other economic benefit if the vehicle or trailer is used primarily to display vehicular advertising device. We are talking about the bus. The bus is not used primarily for advertising. The primary purpose of the bus is to move people. So if we pass this today, it would not be illegal. Based on the law, I highly recommend opponents to go back to the legislature and tell them that you want to ban all vehicle advertising to make it even more clear. But where does that leave you? It will go back to a federal court case that was mentioned earlier by corporate counsel that clearly stated that it's unconstitutional. Certainly, maybe those judges are gone and you could try again, and there's always changes of opinion, and I recommend you do that. But until then, who I'm advocating for is that grandma that called me from Lanacooly that just wants to visit their family. And they know that there's just no more money in the city. The options to increase revenue for the bus services to replace the advertising is increasing taxes on nonprofits. That's where the other suggestion was coming from. Those are regular people. And I'm advocating for all those aunties that I see at Foodland every week that says, you know, the cuts in services to Ewa Beach have been horrible to their families. So until it is clearly illegal, and that people like Outback and all of those multi-million-dollar companies that are profiting for themselves to provide income to their executives, I'm going to advocate for that grandma in Lanacooly and the aunties in Ewa Beach who have been taxed to death and they just can't afford it anymore. So I'm really just advocating for equality for them as taxpayers, to have a revenue source that doesn't raise their taxes or their fees, but allows a private company that can afford it to help them with increased bus services. So I hope, Chair, that we at least continue the discussion. I know that it's still controversial to some members, but I hope that we can let it go to the very last reading, and then if that's where it dies, it dies.
Thank you. That was great. Thank you.